Hi, good afternoon. I am Joy Hoyer, the Executive Director of Girls on the Run Sierras. Excited to be with you guys this afternoon. We are going to kick off our presentation with a video about Girls on the Run that was produced last fall during our fall season, and then we'll dive right into the presentation. So here you go.
Girls on the Run is a great program for young ladies. It teaches girls to be healthy, confident, and joyful. The program is an after-school program, so after they're done with classes for the day, they'll come in and we'll work on other lessons related to self-esteem or your ability to choose things for yourself. And then we'll go outside and we'll have some kind of physical activity, and we usually try to incorporate some kind of fun thing in with that. So every time they go around the loop, we'll have them shout out one thing they like about themselves. We're trying to incorporate the lessons they learned in the classroom with the physical activity that they have after.
The organization helps elementary school girls, not just on the running aspect. Everybody thinks that we're a running program, and really we use that as the method to distribute this message to these young girls. It gets them up and active, helps teach them healthier lifestyle choices, and helps build their self-esteem, helps build their confidence levels, knowing that they can go on and succeed in life in whichever avenue they want to go.
The Celebration 5K is all about energy. I mean, these girls have been working towards this day for 10 weeks. They really come together as little groups. You'll see that the different schools will have some kind of unifying element, whether it's a special hair tie that all the girls wear, or if they all wear some kind of costume, or all paint their faces. So they all come as part of a team. And then they have their community running buddy. That could be a mom, a dad, a special aunt, just a community friend that helps them run that 5K. And it doesn't matter to us whether they run or they walk or they skip. The whole point is that they're moving forward.
I have a niece in the program, 8-year-old niece. The 5K for her was really the culmination of the program for her. It wasn't as much about the running as it was closing out that season with her teammates, with her classmates, and the goal of I can do this.
As someone who grew up in Reno, I love this community and I really want to see this program flourish, and I'd love to see every kid that wants to participate in this program be able to do so.
Giving kids that confidence, giving them the awareness that they can strive in whatever field they want is absolutely vital.
We really see this as a positive for our community. It's really helping to shape some great future leaders. But really the purpose of the program is to teach them to be confident in themselves. So a girl could be a great runner or could never have run a day in her life. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want all of those girls to know that they're going to make progress as long as they keep moving forward.
Well, there you have it. Every time I watch that video, I get goosebumps. That must be the 1000th time I watched it, but every time I just get goosebumps watching those little girls be inspired to participate and finish in a 5K, which is what the program is about, is fantastic. So let's just dive right in. Again, my name is Joy Hoyer. I'm the Executive Director of Girls on the Run Sierras. I have the best job in the entire world, and I'm excited to be with you today to share about our program. Girls on the Run's mission is to inspire girls to be joyful, healthy, and confident while creatively integrating physical activity. Notice I didn't say running, because we don't know that they're runners. They could want to be ponies and act like ponies during the laps, or skip or walk or barrel roll. They're 3rd through 8th grade girls, so we just want them moving, and whatever they're most comfortable moving is what we encourage them to do. We do love to see them run, but if that takes a little bit longer for them to get to, we're okay with that. We envision a world where every girl knows and activates her limitless potential and is free to boldly pursue her dreams. That's pretty amazing for anyone, but especially this program, to be able to tell our local little girls that they can be whatever they want to be, just put one foot in front of the other, strive, work hard, make good connections, have confidence, and you can be whatever you want to be, which is pretty cool. Girls on the Run is an international organization. There are about 225 chapters of Girls on the Run across the country. So we are Girls on the Run Sierras. We serve Washoe County and then schools up around the lake. We have 2 program seasons, a spring and a fall program. The spring season encompasses the lake schools and typically runs from March until June. And our fall program is all Washoe County schools and is September through November. So we're actually getting ready to start our fall 2018 program right after Labor Day. So we're gearing up and getting very excited. I mentioned that we are part of an international organization because although all of our dollars stay local, we do have global support for initiatives like what's on the screen right now, which we'll talk through. This is our Girls on the Run, our standards for ourselves. This is what we live by across all of our councils. So whether you're talking to our council or the council in Vegas or a council in Des Moines, Iowa, you will see that these are across the board what Girls on the Run mission is. Recognize our power and responsibility to be intentional in our decision making. Embrace our differences and find strength in our connectedness. Express joy, optimism, and gratitude through our words, thoughts, and actions. That's my favorite. Lead with an open heart and assume positive intent. Nurture our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Stand up for others and ourselves. A lot of these are, I try to live by them, and I know our team tries to live by them. Some are hard sometimes. Lead with an open heart and assume positive intent. That's hard for me as an adult, to get an email or see a text message or get a message and you're assuming positive intent, but you're not 100% sure that's where the message is coming from. So we're trying to share with our girls and our coaches that these are the 6 standards that will make a whole really great person. And if you think about these with every encounter, you won't be as stressed either. I also really like the yellow one, stand up for ourselves and others, and we'll touch on that one here in a few moments. Girls on the Run International embarked on a 3-year study for girls who have been in our program across the country. And after the study was completed, they sent out some results, which we will be announcing locally, hopefully by the end of the month. It's a longitudinal study that was done by Dr. Maureen Weiss. 97% of girls learned critical skills, life skills, that they are using at home, school, and with their friends. Success. I don't need 100. We got 97%. That's amazing and awesome. This means that what we are teaching our girls in our curriculum is sticking, and they're taking it home, and they're learning, they're teaching their siblings, they're teaching their classmates who aren't in Girls on the Run, and they're comprehending what we are trying to teach them. What sets us apart? We are a very different program. We're all girls, which is cool and also debilitating at times when schools or our partners want a boy and girl program. But we are curriculum based. We have 20 lessons in the 10 weeks, so each lesson will build upon itself. And I'll go into that a little bit later. We have trained coaches. All of our coaches are trained. We actually have coach training the next 2 weekends. So our coaches learn how to deliver the curriculum. They learn how to deliver our values, the slide that was previous. They're all background checked. We have first aid and CPR certified coaches on each team. We are very committed to serving our girls, and we want to make sure that they have the best team around them so they can learn and embark on this journey and be successful. This is another graphic from the longitudinal study, which you'll be seeing hopefully on our website and throughout our media outlets, our social media, our website and things. This is just pretty cool. This was, I liked this, 85% improved competence, caring, care, and connection. 85% of the girls that were studied. Again, this wasn't our chapter, unfortunately, but they did watch girls for 3 years, girls who had been in the program and girls who were not in a Girls on the Run program, and talked to them and tested them and asked them their critical thinking skills, how to make good friends. Did they increase physical activity? Did they decrease screen time? Did their eating habits change? Were they staying hydrated? all of those things. And as we suspected as council directors and the council, it was successful. It's just really awesome to now have numbers behind it that show that, that it really is. And all of these slides, if you reach out to me, I'm happy to talk to anyone in more detail or share this information with you one-on-one as well. Why it's important, as you can see on this slide, 50% of our girls have been bullied on school property and 32% electronically. And this hurts my heart. We've all been bullied. We've all been picked on. We've all had those moments, which are terrible and stink. But the electronic piece is what really is disheartening. This is when, you know, I might have been in 3rd grade and spilt all my lunch on the floor on Friday, and kids are making fun of me and they're calling me sloppy or what have you. But when I returned to school on Monday, everyone had forgotten, hopefully, that I had made a mess and spilled everything on the floor. The electronic bullying is continuing. So if that happened now, I would leave school thinking, oh, hopefully they'll forget about it Monday. And they're not. They're not, because they're Snapchatting and Facebook messaging and Instagram and texting and maybe even making GIFs of my misfall and all of those things. And the girls are coming back to a thunderstorm of bullying on Monday because there's a subset that have been still talking about this after they left school property. So one of our lessons is anti-bullying, how to stand up to a bully, how to identify bullies, how to confront them in a nice, positive manner, and then steps to take if that nice positive manner doesn't continue. But that's one of the lessons we teach. 39% feeling sad, hopeless every day. This is a tough age. We serve girls from 3rd through 8th grade. Anyone who is a middle school girl, that was terrible. Middle school is terrible. And so we're trying to get the girls in the program 3rd through 5th grade so that they can learn some of these confidence building skills and these compassion skills and skills on how to find like-minded people and friends so that they're not getting into the wrong crowd. Or if they are, it's a short-lived time and then they can come back and find their tribe and their people and where they're most comfortable with. 1 in 6 adolescent girls get 60 minutes of physical activity daily. That also should be higher, and we're working to be that higher. Now, we are not a running club. That's a big misstep. We're not a running club. We just want you to be physically active. If you go home and you eat dinner with your family and you say, hey, I'm gonna go walk the dog, awesome. If you go home and you say, hey, Mom, I wanna jump rope, awesome. We're just trying to get people physically active. If you want to run, amazing, good for you, go for it. But otherwise, we're just trying to have some kind of physical activity. And then 24% watching more than 3 hours of television a day. We all need our TV time. We all need our screen time. But 3 hours a day versus 60 minutes of physical activity. That's where we need to get that back in balance. So our program really works to show the benefits. There are benefits to watching TV and there are benefits to screen time, but how are you using that? When are you using it? And let's get that physical activity number up a bit so that we're not so far behind.
So I do have a question here. I was wondering when and if you might reach out to other areas like Lyon County where we really need this kind of training.
Awesome. Hello from Lyon County. We would love to be in Lyon County. The process for us to expand into counties is not an easy one through Girls on the Run International. However, if there's interest in Lyon County, that's the first step. So if there's a way that I can connect with Lyon County contact after, I'd love to walk through what that looks like and maybe meet with you and talk through the processes. The next county that I think we will expand into, just because it's been primed, will be down to Carson City. We are around, like I said, the lake schools and in Washoe County, and Carson City has been asking for a while, but we also have to get approval from our international organization, but we'd love to connect with Lyon County. So thanks for that. Girls on the Run we teach 5 C's. So each of our lessons are set up in 90-minute blocks. So the girls will meet with their team 2 times a week after school for 90 minutes. So it's an after-school program. So if school gets out at 2:30, They're meeting their team at 2:45 for 90 minutes. Each lesson is comprised of one of these C letters. We call them the 5 C's plus 1. And what we're trying to do is keep that word in front of them the entire lesson. So if we're doing a lesson on balance, let's say, we're going to ask the girls, what is a definition of balance? And they will say, you know, you don't want anything out of balance. You don't want something to fall off the table. You want the table legs to be, sturdy. Great, yes, but there's also balance with ourselves. So how do we keep ourselves in balance? If I love to read, which is amazing, if I love to read, which is amazing, but I'm staying up all night reading and I'm tired the next morning, I'm out of balance. So what can I do to get back in balance? Maybe that is I'll read until 8 o'clock and then I'll go to bed and I'll get up an hour early and finish my book before I go to school instead of staying up all night. So the balance theme is through the entire lesson. Negative self-talk through the entire lesson. All of our lessons come back to these 5 C's. They are feel greater confidence, create positive connections, develop strength of character, respond to others with care, improve competence, contribute to community. And as you see, again, oh, by the way, excuse me, let's be physically active. This is the meat of our program. This is the reason our program exists, or the 5 C's. I'm so sorry. The physical activity piece is there and it's important, but it's very secondary because we want them to have the soft skills that will help them get those jobs, find those friends, be greater students, be better daughters and granddaughters and friends and all of that. I personally look at this list and I want to be around people who have those 5 C's. I want somebody who likes to give back to the community, has confidence, has character, has great connections, is a confident person. That's exactly what I want. So that's what we're trying to teach our girls at that young age. Our statistics are pretty awesome, and we're pretty proud of this. We have served 2,000 girls since 2007. So we started our program at the lake 11 years ago, and we moved to Reno, expanded to Reno 6 years ago. In 2017, we served 512 girls, which is awesome. My goal is to serve 1,000 girls in the next 5 years. So I need Lyon County. I need some more sponsors. I need some additional coaches, some connections in some schools, but we would love to serve 1,000 girls in the next 5 years. And currently, we are in more than 33 schools in the Reno Tahoe area. This is one of the things I love the most about the program. There's several things I love about the program, but this is one of the things I love the most is we will never turn a girl away for her inability to pay. It's not fair for a 3rd through 8th grade girl to not be able to participate in this program if her family doesn't have the wherewithal. So we write grants. We have events. We do individual fundraisers. We ask for individual contributions. We just are in the middle of a Sponsor a Girl campaign where anyone can sponsor shoes, healthy snacks, or a girl so that we have that money so that we can have more participation in our programs. 57% are on financial assistance, and we're going to be over 60% in 2018. Our cost per girl is $200, so the schools don't pay anything. The schools allow us to be in the school, and the schools assign a person for us to be, that's our liaison. Girls will pay $200. If they are on free or reduced lunch, they will pay $75 or $35. $35 doesn't seem like a lot to many, but $35 is a lot to some. So what we do is we ask those girls to still pay $35 because it's an investment in themselves. That's part of the curriculum. Part of the curriculum is talking about how you need to invest in yourself, and you need to believe in yourself, and you need to do what you need to do in order to pay the $35 to be in the program you want to be in. So we have some pretty amazing teachers, shout out to teachers, they're awesome, that will say to girls, you can come to my classroom and empty my wastebasket 2 times a week, and I will pay you so that you can pay for your Girls on the Run entry, which is crazy and amazing because they're teaching the girls a subset lesson. We're asking the girls to be involved and believe in themselves and pay the fee so they can be a part of this amazing program. Now they're learning that they can actually earn money through chores. If a lot of the girls who fall in this bucket they just do chores at home. I had to do chores at home with no money. I didn't get allowance, but a lot of them don't have the allowance piece tied to that. So by the teacher saying, hey, come in and do this, and then I'll pay you, and then you get to go pay Girls on the Run, those girls just light up. So that's one of the ways that girls can also pay. But like I said, grants, individual contributions, sponsorships to the program, and events that we have. Our curriculum, so we have a 10-week program. So the girls will meet 2 times a week for 90 minutes for 10 weeks, 10 consecutive weeks, give or take spring break, fall break, things of that nature in there. And the curriculum is divided into 3 pieces. The first third is self-awareness and self-care. The next piece is that connectedness piece. And the third piece is the empowerment piece. So the self-awareness and self-care, this is where, as you can see on the screen, they're getting to know each other. They're getting to know themselves. They're getting to find out what's unique about them. Do they have glasses? Do they have curly hair? Are they short? Are they tall? All of those things and what makes them amazing. They are all in the program because they're 3rd through 5th grade girls, so they have that in common. They all go to the same school. They might live in the same neighborhood. That's where it really stops and starts. And we're trying to show them that they don't have to look like or be someone else. They can just be who they are because they're amazing and they'll do amazing things that way. So that's the first part, is the self-awareness and self-care. So that's the first third of the program. The next third of the program, the connectedness piece, is really about healthy relationships, standing up to peer pressure, gossip. It's a bad game of telephone with these girls for sure. Bullying, choosing your friends. Then they're also practicing their 5K, and then they're setting boundaries. What's really cool about this connectedness piece is they're also learning to be stand-buyers, not bystanders. So I'm going to say that again. They're learning to be stand-buyers, not bystanders. So they're learning to stand up for their friends, whether their friend is in the room or not. We've all been in situations where we've had a very good friend who you walk into a room and they're not there and everyone else is not talking kindly of them. Do you stand up for your friend? Do you leave the room? Do you join in the bashing of your friend? That's what we're trying to teach the girls in this section is, what are your options? You can certainly stand there and talk about your friend, but gossip hurts and they're not really your friend. You can say, that's my friend, that's my coworker, that's my colleague, that's my aunt, that's my cousin, whomever, and I don't want you talking like that. And sometimes that's super powerful to be able to stand up for yourself, or you can just leave the room. So we're trying to teach them those pieces where they can be, they can feel fulfilled, and they see that they can make their choices for the program. And the third part of the program, the third piece, is empowerment. And this is celebrating their strengths, setting and achieving their goals, learning about the community. They have a community impact project, which is awesome. And then the final celebration. So a couple things in this empowerment bucket that are pretty cool are each session that the girls meet, they have what they call a identity card and a lap goal. So the coach will say, today we are going to be running around the track outside of our school. And so we're going to be running for 35 minutes. So set your lap goal. So the girls individually get to set their goal for the day. And at first it's a little clunky because they're trying to figure out how many laps around the track equates to how many minutes and things like that. But as the program progresses, they can look and say, okay, we're going to be outside for 35 minutes. I'm going to run 5 laps, or I'm going to complete 5 laps. I'm going to walk 5 laps. So they're setting their own goal. And they're setting an attainable goal. The coaches do watch so that they're setting a goal where they're not going to say, I'm going to run 1, in 35 minutes. No, we don't play that. We want them to challenge themselves, but also be realistic. And it's okay if they come back at the end of the session and they're like, oh, Coach Joy, I only ran 7 laps and I meant to run 10. That's okay. You finished 7 and that's amazing. So what can we do next time to get to 10? And you're going to hit your goal sometimes and sometimes you're not. So we're also teaching them that subset lesson in the empowerment piece. The community impact project is one of my favorite days, and if I could be at every school when they walk through this lesson, I would be so happy. The community project is we set out a big poster board, and we tell the girls that we're going to be working on a project, but they have to identify their community. Is that their school, their church, their soccer team, Reno, Sparks, Nevada, whatever they feel is their community is where we start. And that's very, very high level. Then we walk through, okay, what are some, and all the while they're being physically active. So we'll write down the communities and then we'll say, go finish 2 laps and come back and add to the list. Go finish 2 laps and come back and add to the list. So that's how they're getting that physical active piece throughout this. But we will say, okay, so Reno is your community. What in Reno would you like to see improved? So they'll write things like homelessness. Gosh, if they could solve the homelessness problem, if one of our 3rd graders could solve the homelessness problem, I'll bottle her up and keep her forever. Traffic, schools, they're very in tune to that they're overcrowded at their schools. Maybe because they feel it, maybe because it's on the news or their parents, but so they'll write down these next level of areas that they want to focus on for community impact project. The coaches will sit down and powwow and go, okay, well, we can't solve the homelessness problem in this 3rd grade room. That'd be cool, but we can't. So how can we talk them to that next level? And we just keep whittling down until they find their project. The school, a lot of them will talk about homeless pets, seniors, kids that are sick. They're very, very in tune. Our young ladies are very in tune with their community, and I wasn't that in tune as a 3rd through 8th grade girl. I probably just kind of walked through the school and participated when I was, asked to or voluntold to. But these kiddos these days are very, very in tune, which makes me excited for the future for sure. So homelessness. Okay, girls, how would you like to solve homelessness? And this was at one of our schools here in Reno. It was actually Mount Rose Elementary. And the girls were like, well, if the homeless people could just get a job, then they could make money, then they could get a house, and then they wouldn't be homeless. And you're like, yeah, right. Yes, that's that easy. Again, if it was only that easy. So we're like, okay, so if they could get a job, let's focus on if we could get a job. And they said, well, if they probably need a shower, or they probably need, clothes. So they ended up making, they got gallon baggies, and they put a toothbrush and toothpaste and Kleenex and hand sanitizer and a comb in these baggies. They also wrote a note that said, you're amazing. We believe in you. Girls on the Run, Mount Rose. Smile, today's a new day. Girls on the Run, Mount Rose. So we made, I think, 45 of these bags. And we donated those to Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, another local nonprofit in Reno that helps a very poor community for free. So Chris Rose, the executive director, is a good friend of mine. He came to Mount Rose, and the girls proudly presented their goodie bags. And he's crying, I'm crying, the other coaches are crying, and the girls are just like, what? We're helping the community. They didn't realize what they had done, which was really cool. So Chris takes his goodie bags back to his a business over on 4th and Record Street. I'm sure you're familiar with that area. And he's handing them out. And he emails me a week later, and he was like, I've not stopped crying since I've got these bags, because his clients are coming in to shop and get free clothes because this is the only place that they can go. And Chris is giving them this baggie, and they're saying, who are Girls on the Run Mount Rose? What, and why are they doing for this? Why are they doing this for me? You know, have a great day. Today's a new day. You're beautiful. You know, all of those things. And it's just the way that they're giving back. So not only did we feel good completing a really cool project, we got to help another nonprofit in Reno, which is why we're all here, right? To help one another. And then Chris got to see the magnitude of his clients feeling the impact from our girls and Girls on the Run, which is just that full circle that is amazing. So that's the final piece. And then of course they end with a celebration 5K. So they are working up their endurance to participate and finish in a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. I haven't ran a 5K. I'm not a runner. I will exercise, but I will not run. So these girls are doing more than I have at my age. We do have a practice so that they are understanding what 3.1 miles feels like. And each part of the curriculum, the lesson that the coaches talk with the girls about is set up in a manner where the first 5 minutes we check in with the girls. How's everyone feeling? How was everyone's day? Did everyone get enough sleep, etc.? Are your water bottles filled? Do you have sunscreen on? Do you have your shoes on? It's crazy. You have to ask if their shoes are on and if they're tied. Then the next 10 minutes is what did we talk about last lesson to see if what we're teaching actually sticks. So what did we talk about last lesson? And then how were you able to implement that maybe in your week so far? Then we dive right into the lesson. So we'll say, today we're going to talk about balance or friends or choices or consequences. That's one of my favorite lessons as well. Although every lesson is my favorite. Choices or consequences. What's a consequence? What's a choice? Compassion, empathy, sympathy. What's the difference between empathy and sympathy? Ask a third grade girl the difference between empathy and sympathy, and then try to teach them that piece. So we set the stage for the word or the lesson of the day. Then we will do what we call a warm-up activity. So that might be, if it's balance, for example, they're going to stand on one leg and they're going to physically get out of balance and get back into balance, and get out of balance and get back into balance when we shout out terms. So it's gimmicky and it's gamey, but they're getting it because they're absorbing it as we're playing along. Then we take the activity outside if we're not outside already, and we start doing our laps. Every time the girl completes a lap, she gets a lap counter, which is a jelly bracelet, which is bananas that they lose their minds over jelly bracelets. But it's an easy way for them to count how many laps they've completed. And so while they're doing that, they're also thinking about balance again. So they'll finish a lap and they'll come to one of the coaches and they'll give us another example of balance. Great, do another lap, another example of balance. So the whole lesson, the whole 90 minutes, we're reinforcing whatever that topic was for the day. We also find it very, very important to stretch. We teach them stretches, we teach them warm-ups. We also cool down and we stretch when we're done. Because if we do have some runners that just take off and they're running, we want to make sure that they stay healthy and they don't hurt themselves. The girls also don't understand pace. And so they'll sprint the first 5 minutes of practice and then they're dead. And so we're trying to teach them pace. And if you have to walk a lap and then jog a lap and then walk a lap, you're still building up your endurance, but don't just right out of the gun, get after it. Another amazing part of our program is we provide a healthy snack, and we make sure that every girl has a water bottle so she stays hydrated. It's crazy that, I've got mine. It's crazy that they don't understand hydration and how that helps with headaches, that helps with everything, and you should stay hydrated. So we've got a water bottle with them every lesson so that they're consuming water while we're participating in the activity. Thank you, reminding me to take a sip of water. Healthy snack, we'll ask the girls, what's your favorite healthy snack? And they're like, Doritos, Cheetos, candy. No. And so we're teaching them about what healthy snacks are. So the coaches will provide a healthy snack for each practice. So we are cuties, bananas, hummus, carrots, celery sticks, peanut butter, and 2 of our lessons are about grains. What's a grain? What's a protein? What's a dairy? And we're teaching them portion sizes as well. So that is weaved into one of our 20 lessons, which is pretty cool too, so that they have that reinforcement. one of my favorite stories is the choices and consequences lesson. There was a young girl who was she asked if I would run with her that day. So I said, of course. And she just kept saying that, she had a side ache and she had a side ache. And so we were trying to think through why she might have this side ache while she was being physically active. So, and especially if you're quiet around these girls, they just talk, and they'll find their answer. They'll just talk their way through their answer. So I said to her, why do you think you have this side ache? What did you have for lunch? So she proceeds to tell me that she had a piece of cheese pizza, she had string cheese, she had a bag of mini Doritos, she had a soda, she snuck a soda in, and she had a Snickers bar. Hello, that's why you have a side ache, because you ate all of that and now you're trying to be physically active 3 hours later. And so I said, do you remember our choices and consequences lesson, which was the 2 days previous? Yes, Coach Joy, I didn't make very good choices. So now I'm feeling the consequences of, how she didn't eat healthy. So we talked through how she would be able to, on Girls on the Run Day especially, eat a little healthier, watch what she was eating, so when she was being physically active, she didn't get the side ache. So those are all I can sit here for another hour and anecdotally tell you stories about all of our girls and how they're amazing and how you see them change. But those are the 3 sort of sections of our program and how we disseminate that. This is one of our alumni girls, and every time I see this picture, I just want to pick her up and hug her. Alejandra she's now 18. I need to update this slide. She's 18. She's going to be a freshman at UNR in a couple weeks. We're so proud of her. She was going through a very, very tough time at home, had some things happen that shut her down, and she was nonverbal. And her counselor at her school invited her to be a part of Girls on the Run, because she knew that this program would help her find her voice and help her find her confidence and things. And so her quote, "Girls on the Run taught me how to laugh again, something that had become hard for me to do." If you've ever spent any time around a 3rd through 5th grade girl, it's hard to get them to be quiet. It should not be hard for them to laugh or be silly or any of those things, but it was for Alejandra, and Girls on the Run turned her life around. She went to Hug High School. She was on the cross country team, so she fell in love with running. She was on the debate team, so she found her voice and she found laughing and being able to speak again. She's one of our biggest advocates. She's actually featured, if any of you shop for 31 Gifts, Alejandra is one of 6 girls nationwide that's featured in 31 Gifts this season. Anytime you order something from 31 and have it monogrammed in all their cute bags, one of the Girls on the Run lessons or Girls on the Run features will be in your bag. So you might get Alejandra, and she's our girl. And that's a big deal because there's 200 councils, and our girl Alejandra was chosen and her story to be a part of this campaign just to show what Girls on the Run can do. So cannot say enough good things about her for sure. This is also really cool. I love getting testimonials from moms or guardians or grandparents because we see a change in the girls. I may not know the girl when I walk into the classroom to assistant coach the very first day, but by the end of it, I've seen a change in them in 10 short weeks. So this mom, being her running buddy, was probably the most amazing mother-daughter experience I've had with her. It blows my mind that we are actually making this much of a difference in these girls' lives, because that's what we strive for. And then when you hear the parents say, yep, you did it, it's pretty fantastic. A running buddy is the Celebration 5K. The girl is participating. Again, run, walk, whatever you need to do. They always have a running buddy. First of all, they're young, so we want to make sure that they navigate the course. But most importantly, that buddy is there just to smile at them and cheer them on and just keep telling them one foot in front of the other. You can do this. We're almost there, and just get them talking about what they've learned during Girls on the Run and finish the race. When we do look at the timing, we're a mastery program, not a performance-based program. So the only thing we time is the 90-minute sessions. because everything else, I don't care how long it takes you to finish the 5K. We'll be there 7 hours if we need to. We just want you to finish. All the girls at the end get a finisher medal. And we typically have firefighters, police, first responders at the finish line helping hand out medals, particularly women, so that they can see that they're all these different faces that they can be when they grow up. So, but it's very cool. We have a book of these testimonials and quotes, which just makes my heart happy. Okay, we're winding down a little bit here, but here's everyone always asks how we can help, which is fantastic, and I love that. There's 3 ways you can volunteer. We have committees. You can volunteer at one of our events, or you can become a coach. A coach is fantastic. You don't have to be a parent. You don't have to be a teacher. You just have to have time and a smile. We're an after-school program, so your schedule does have to be a little flexible with being able to be at the school when school lets out anytime between really 2 and 3 here in Reno. We give you all the curriculum. We give you everything you need. We walk you through exactly how to administer a lesson. Each coach gets a big tubby of paper clips and note cards and pencils and construction paper, everything that you need for the lesson, so you don't have to buy anything. We just want people who have smiles and just want to make a difference. And really, coaching is beyond rewarding. The girls are always thanking me, "Thanks, Coach Joy, for being with us." No. Like, I get more from them than they ever get from me. So I volunteer selfishly because it's amazing to watch those little girls. And let's be honest, I'm going to work for one of them someday. So I want them to have all these amazing soft skills. And then remember Coach Joy and hire me when they're a CEO of some amazing company. So if you're interested in being a coach, we're always looking for coaches. We have schools that need community coaches. We have schools that need substitute coaches. The head coach is there 2 times a week. Assistants only have to be there 1 day a week. So if you don't have the bandwidth to commit to 2 days a week, we can put you as an assistant coach. But we'd love to talk to anybody about being an assistant coach. Give, obviously, sponsor a girl, sponsor a team, pay for a pair of shoes. The shoes thing I never realized was as huge as it is, because girls will come in jellies. And although those are cute, still not super comfortable, but they'll come in jellies. Those aren't proper exercise, physical activity shoes. So we're always looking for money that we can then buy shoes from local stores at very deeply discounted rates and give those to the girls. Sponsor a girl, $200. Sponsor a team. If you're interested in doing that, you have a business or you know someone who might want to sponsor a team, let me know, because it depends on the team size. The team size can be anywhere from 8 to 15 in number of girls. So larger team obviously requires a little bit more, but we cap it at that. If we get over 15, then we open it up and we split the teams and we have 2 teams. And then share social media. Join our newsletter and help us spread the word. We are Girls on the Run Sierras on Facebook and Instagram. Our website address, girlsontherunSierras.org. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. You can reach out to me. I'm sure they'll get me the information so I can contact you back. Help us spread the word. The one thing that I've learned, I've been in this job for 1.5 years now, and the one thing that I've learned is not everybody knows about our program. They think that sometimes we are Moms on the Run. Moms on the Run's great, but we also we have maybe little moms, and so we're very different programmatic-wise, but we love Moms on the Run. But every time I speak to a group or I speak to a class or I come and talk to volunteers, there's another person who should hear about this program, whether it's from a financial standpoint or a volunteer standpoint. I would love for all of our girls to have the opportunity to participate in this program if they wish to do so and have time to do so. So if we can continue to make and spread that word. We have amazing supporters in the community that come up with very creative fundraisers for us. We just did a fundraiser at St. Mary's. It was called Dance for the Girls. They featured 3 of their most popular dance classes. And we went and it was a fundraiser and we got to exercise and dance and it was great. Orange Theory Fitness has also been really gracious to us and had their members raise money for us. So we can get creative that way. But if there's anyone that you know that should also hear this program, let me know. I'm happy to come in and do these talks. I would love to have a live audience, but this has been great as well. We can also teach mini lessons. So I can come into a business and in 45 minutes to an hour, I can teach that lesson on balance or the lesson on using your words appropriately, or the lesson on negative self-talk to your team as a team builder, which I think then gets people thinking about how we're more than just a running program and how they want to get more involved. And with that, do we have any questions?
Yeah, let's open it up for questions. Send them in through the chat box or use the Q&A function, please.
If there's no questions, that means I just did an amazing job and I get an A. No questions, that's great. Like I said, we're also in the middle of recruiting for our fall program, which will start after Labor Day. If you're interested in seeing what schools will be participating in the fall program, you can go to our website. It is girlsontherun.sierras.org, and just click the registration button. And on the far right, you'll see Double Diamond, St. Albert's, Huntsberger, Jessie Beck, the names of the schools and the days that they're participating. So if you know a young girl who wants to participate or you're looking to help spread the word, you can go there to see where the schools that have committed are for the fall program.
Okay, I don't see any questions coming through, so
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll be back next month.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.